with liberty and justice for all.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Okay, I assume everyone's had a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting. If everyone's okay with all the minutes, then I need a motion for approval of the last minutes.
Motion made.
Second.
Sorry.
Got a motion by William, second by Dale. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The first thing we've got is we've got a second reading of ordinance tonight on our city tax, and this will be the second reading to lower the property tax, and then we'll take a vote on that tonight.
So ordinance 2024-005, an ordinance levying and imposing abnormal taxes on the city of Jamestown for general municipal purposes for the fiscal year 2024-2025 on all taxable property within the taxing jurisdiction of Jamestown, Kentucky. Whereas it is necessary for the city of Jamestown, Kentucky to impose abnormal taxes on real property and personal property for the purpose of providing revenue necessary for supporting the operation of the government of the city of Jamestown, Kentucky. And whereas the city council of the city of Jamestown, Kentucky is required by state law to establish a tax rate and other guidelines regarding payment of taxes. Now therefore be ordained by the city council of the city of Jamestown, Kentucky as follows. The purpose of supporting the operation of government of the city of Jamestown, Kentucky and the payment of debts and expenses incurred by the city of Jamestown, Kentucky for fiscal year 2024-2025, there shall be and hereby is levied and imposed ad valorem tax on each $100 of assessed taxable property within the taxing jurisdiction of the city of Jamestown. Real property, including real property of public service companies, shall be taxed at 13.7 cents per hundred as assessed value by the determined by the Department of Revenue assessed valuation. Personal property, including personal property of public service companies, shall be taxed at 13.7 cents per hundred of assessed value determined by the Department of Revenue assessed valuation. Financial institution measured by the deposits in the institution located in the jurisdiction of the city of Jamestown shall be taxed at 0.025% of deposits for KRS 136.575 subsection 2. All taxes paid on or before December 31st shall be receive a 2% discount on the total face value of the bill. All taxes paid after January 31st, 2025 will incur a penalty of 10% in addition to tax payable. All persons and firms owing 2024 property taxes which are required to be published in the local newspaper as delinquent taxes for fiscal year 2024-2025 shall pay in addition to the tax owed and the 10% penalty a $3 cost to cover the newspaper publication. This ordinance shall become effective upon its passage and publication required by law.
Okay, and this is basically is lowering the taxes from, I believe it was 14.2
Yeah.
to 13.7 $100. So I just need a motion.
Motion to adopt the tax rate.
Second by Dwight. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, when's those bills go out, Tyler?
We'll have them out November 1st.
November the 1st, okay. We really don't have a lot on the agenda tonight, just a few things I want to run over real quick. Trunk or treat, you know, is the 31st on the square. That'll be Halloween night from 5 to 7. So anybody that wants to set up around the square, if anybody talks to you or asks about it, that's when it'll be.
Do they need to let you know first?
Do they need to let you?
I've just
know
been
or
telling them to get out there between 4:30 and 4 to 5 and today.
So,
Pick a spot.
Yeah.
now that
What
morning,
night?
I'm sorry,
What night?
the 31st on
Thursday, I think.
Thursday. Halloween night.
Thursday, okay.
Now, the kids from Jamestown will be coming through that morning. I think it's about 9 o'clock, and I went ahead and sent in, you had to fill out a thing to send back to them, so I filled that out and sent back in. They're actually gonna, people can set up around the square and the businesses around the square, then the Christian church is gonna be an overflow lot if there's people that come that don't have nowhere to set up or whatever, you know, around the square, then the Christian church will be the overflow lot. But that's gonna be about 9 o'clock that morning, it's when they plan on being in town. And we've bought candy, we've bought tons of candy, so hopefully, you never know how much you're gonna need, but it seems like we run out every year, and are trying to run and get more, but you buy more next year and then you run out again, so. I don't know, I'm just gonna have to get a pipeline or something.
You're liable to get a lot more this year because the deal at Kendall, where they've been letting just the general public in, and not letting them in this year.
Oh, are they not? So, yeah, they'll
So
probably
we're
be
looking
more
at a
out.
lot more this year, yeah.
So we'll provide for the kids that day, and of course, we have that night also. And there's gonna be, I believe, Jamestown sent me, I think it's 527 kids expected just from Jamestown. So anyway, lots of candy. Imagine how many kids will be up all night that night. So we have that, and then another thing, this is kind of Jeff's here, glad he may want to talk a little bit about this, but we've talked in the past about the tasers. The tasers is something that we have, that the police department uses. Axon is the company that we have always gotten those from, correct, Jeff? And what happens, they have a 5-year warranty on them. 5-year warranty on the tasers. Well, we've talked to the insurance companies because the only thing you have, the only option at that point is you either got to get new tasers or you got to quit using them, because if somebody got hurt or something, you may be okay, but with them not being under warranty, if it was to go any further than that, it could become an issue. And that comes from Barry and I. They talked to the guy at KLC, and he said pretty much if you're not gonna get new tasers that are under warranty, then you probably need to quit using them. And I think Jeff can testify that we probably need those tasers. There's lots of times.
Yeah, those are pretty valuable. I mean, even not even using them, you might get someone that is going against the police commands, and you reach to get a taser and they comply, and you don't even have to shoot, activate it, shoot it, or whatever. So yeah, they're pretty valuable. I mean, they're just about as valuable as anything else you pack on your duty belt. So yeah, it's we found this out by accident. Kind of the same thing 5 years ago. We were ordering batteries to replace the batteries as they were going dead, and when we called, the rep says, "Oh, by the way, you're outside your 5-year window." So I think we have one that is not, that we bought for a new officer, but the majority of them are outside of that 5-year limited warranty that Axon, the company, gives you. It's up to like $1 million or $10 million. I can't remember the exact figure, but they cover if something happened and you used it and something didn't go right or something. So yeah, they need to be replaced.
And we spoke to both. We spoke to McKinney and Blair, and we spoke to KLC, and that's what they recommend. So pretty much, we've gotten prices, and I'm not exactly, because I don't have the paperwork in here, but I believe it's right around $27,000 to
It was
replace
somewhere
6.
26 to 31, depending on how many we buy. If we buy 6, but we're going to be getting a new officer back to us in June of next year, so then he'll need a new one. So 7 really, so that's somewhere in the ballpark about $31,000 to buy all new ones. And of course, then when you buy new ones, then there's new training, and then there's new, because these are totally new ones. These are new and improved ones, they're saying. These are not just like the old ones we had. These are something even new and improved, that they're going away from what we did have, and they're going to the new one. Russell Springs Police getting ready to face the same thing. I'm assuming the sheriff's office either has or will face that, so it's just something that every department will face.
Well, we have no choice then, do we?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's something we're gonna have to, and that's something we can take a vote on it tonight if you all want to do that. It's something that we probably need to go ahead and get ordered, or we can hold it until you all think about it, but it's totally whatever you all want to do. That we just, and when we talked about it when it first came up, I said, well, let's check with somebody else. Well, there's nobody else to check with. That's the only place that provides these tasers. So, they've got it pretty much 5 years. You're gonna have to replace them.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta have them, so I'd make a motion now that we go ahead and purchase them.
Okay, got a motion by Barry. Second by Dwight. All in favor? Any opposed?
It may be something in the future that we didn't have time. Now, we worked on like a Homeland Security grant, but we don't have time. If we're outside our window, we need to get them done. But now that we know, when it comes up 5 years from now, we can apply for that Homeland Security, and it won't get everything, but it got most of it, didn't it?
Yeah, one more quick add to that was the tasers were out, the body armor was out, right along the same time. We were awarded a grant that was within a week that we found out that we were awarded that for 5 vests, bulletproof body armor vests for the officers. at $1,300 a piece. So we saved that, you know, we're not out anything on that, but we just, the time frame got away with us on the tasers, so we could have been looking at having to buy body armor and tasers. Now we just have to look at buying tasers because we got that body armor grant from the Kentucky Attorney General. I found out about it in my training, and I applied for it when I got back, and within 2 or 3 days we were approved for it. And they have like a $15 million fund. It's just body armor for police officers, police departments. So we were awarded that, so that's, you guys can do the figures out. I can't do it in my head, but that's pretty, 5 times 1,300, that's pretty expensive. So.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
We've already been sized for them, they're ordered, and the guy that was here was telling me about some other things, ballistic helmets, rifle plates that go in the vest, the shields. So I'm going to apply for every one of those. Russell Springs has already applied for a shield, so their body armor is good. So yeah, we could have been looking at having to do body armor and tasers. We're just having to do tasers now. So.
How much do those shields cost?
I don't know, they're fairly expensive. I've looked at those before. I don't know exactly. I've got to get into that. I want to do the body armor first, the helmets and the shields, and the plates to go in the vest for the rifle plate, and those are the next things to work on. But pretty expensive.
I think every officer should have one of those ballistic shields in the trunk of their car.
Yeah, I think
Or at a
it's,
bare minimum have 1 or 2 at school, you know.
yeah, I think it's 1 per department on the shields, I think. So that makes me think it was probably pretty expensive, I'm guessing. So.
Yeah, the ones you're talking about, are they the ones that have the taser built into them?
The shields?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I think the only thing is they just have like a lock. They have like a window and a lock, I think. I kind of looked at them just a little bit, but I haven't dug into it deep. I don't know about the tasers.
Here's one that's about $3,000. So, this one,
Yeah, you
different
know,
prices.
But, you know, if you've got one,
Yeah, but somebody can use it, yeah.
where's it at? Is it in PD? Could they not plug in? But you need it, it's 10 miles up the road.
Yeah, it's never gonna be.
Well, I got one here, shield, you know.
Put your gunfire.
Yeah.
Well, are you
Time out.
gonna have a fire weekly too, when something comes up, you know, like at school, that stuff
Right.
comes up and
But,
I'm sure nobody has time to go hunt the shield down.
I mean, they make some, I know they make some smaller ones. What was you looking at there? Was that like full length?
Yeah, that was there was some 1600, something like
Yeah,
that.
they make some smaller ones like for, of course, they don't protect their legs, but they do
They
protect
would protect
their
us.
torso and head.
Yeah, there's only 50 channels.
I mean, you just don't have time to respect people to get stuff sometimes.
Yeah, one ain't gonna do much good. It's not exactly where it needs to be.
And it may be where we do a lot from, I don't know. I think the guy told me we could do 1 per department, but I haven't got into the ballistic stuff, the other stuff other than just the body armor, because it's needed right now. Because we had 5 that was expired.
But if we could get a grant for one shield, we can always look at buying the other one ourselves. I mean, you know, we'll take whatever we get. If we get one free, we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully those don't have a shelf life on them and used by, you know, days, like body armor does.
Yeah, those are 5-year.
Car seats or
Yeah, the
something.
body armor.
Okay, so anyway, just for your information, kind of, the grant that we had, the CDBG grant with the deal with Davis Gate, that's been kind of where they had to have so many employees before we could close that out. 13, I believe, Tyler, they reduced it from 14 to 13. That's all completed. They came last week and we signed all the final papers. So all that's been cleared and done, so now everything, okay, Davis Gate's going good. They've got 13 people and gonna put in a new machine, I believe he said sometime next year, and probably employ 7 or 8 more people. But we're all done with where we got the grant for all that to go in. So that's all been finalized. The meters that we've applied for, we've signed the paperwork to send back in on that to try to get both of those grants that we've applied for. Of course, one of them's we thought was 80-20, it's been reduced to 70-30 because of being in a distressed area, a non-distressed, they've changed it, so that's where we're dropped from 80% to 70, and then we applied for that KIA grant to cover that 20%, so waiting on that, hopefully we'll hear something out of it the next month or so. But that's to replace and for the labor to put new meters in.
What's the status on their water tower, water tank?
Tyler has a paperwork on it right here, I think it's 13%.
Yeah, last month, it's in the, at the steel plant now, it's about, last month it was about 13% done as far as what the prefab work before they ever get here. But it looks like that, what they sent me, they thought they would have it up by January, but they still, you're gonna have to wait to paint, you know, in the spring when it warms back up, but I don't know exactly where we're at on the prefab stuff now, but last month when I talked to Caldwell, it was about 13% then.
Now, is this going down? I was apparently confused. I thought this was going up on the hill there at Clifty Creek. Is this going down Maynard Road?
No, Clifty Creek. Same place that the glass tank was at.
Well, that's what I thought, but I was down there the other day and I thought that tank was supposed to stay there until the new one got built.
No.
I had to take it down.
Yeah, it's gone. Maynard's up until, we're running everything through Maynard tank until we get this one. And then we'll close that one down.
Well, I was down there just a few days ago and noticed that the old one was gone, and I was under the impression that was gonna stay there until.
Yeah, the glass tank's gone, because we're putting it right back on
Right back
on that place. So I mean, there's a lot of work that had to be done there, and it's actually widened back out, so it's just a bigger tank. So it was just a few inches with it.
Just a
Yeah,
little
Tony.
over what we thought.
Tony called me and we both thought it was crazy, you know, because we thought it was staying up, but then, you know.
Yeah, the maker tank is what we're running water through right now.
Listen, if there's nothing else to vote on, I'm gonna excuse myself. There is a last night of revival, and I'm gonna get there at 6:30. There's nothing else to vote on, correct?
No.
Thank you.
You're right. Thanks, Barry. Okay, a couple of other things, just real quick. Concrete for the sidewalks over here. I don't know who all's noticed and looked, but they've got it completely formed. One whole section has been poured. The other section will be poured in the morning. I don't think we're supposed to do it at 10 o'clock, so that's gonna have all that sidewalk area. The employees have done all that, so they've done a great job. They've formed it, they've poured it, they've done all the work on it, so.
Well, what about the hand railings? Is the inspector said, no, we don't have to have them, or?
You don't have to have that unless you had changed all the land, the way, the width and stuff of it.
And the way Les talked to, he just said it was their sidewalk. You know, we put it back over morning. So,
I think he was telling me if you went out so wide, if you expanded out and the sidewalk was so wide, then you would have to have handrails, but not the way it
Probably
is.
if you went out, where you squared off, where you like a wall, where you can come back.
Yeah, but so they'll get that poured tomorrow, so hopefully all that'll be finished up. Marketplace is Saturday downtown, so unless the weather stays great, this will probably be our last one for the season unless November's really warm or, you know, nice weather because it's getting to where it's about too late to do anything. Yeah, I went to Gatlinburg last week and I saw a post today that Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg has snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was 75 degrees down there last week. So, I'm trying to think. One last thing I had wrote down. The guy from, that's over at drug court has contacted me about, they're wanting some of their people to do community service. I want to know if we had anything that they could work on. And so I just talked to him a little bit about it. And of course I asked a few questions about, you know, liability and a contract and all that, because anytime you do something like that, my main thing is we gotta make sure right off that if we take on something like that, you know, that we're covered reliability, and he assured me that that would be something that they would have a contract, and they would have some kind of liability
Yes.
thing drawn up, but they would be willing to, to do whatever. Of course, I told him it would be outside stuff, maybe some stuff over at the park or something. And I told him I'd get with Les and Tyler, and we'd get with Rudy and stuff and see what all maybe can be done over at the park, or what we can get done and get back with him. So are y'all okay with this, as long as we, make sure that the paperwork is in good order, and they're just wanting to do
Are we
community
gonna be
service.
paying them anything?
No community service. They're just wanting to do some stuff in Jamestown too.
Okay.
I think it's part of their program.
It is,
They have to do
it
so
is.
many hours.
And they,
I think, don't they have to pay the inmates a little bit? I mean, not enough to amount.
Well, this isn't even that.
We didn't, we bought lunch is the only thing. I think they got, I don't know, like 2 cents a day or something, when they were working it. I don't know, they said something, I thought they were joking, but they said they made 2 cents a day working or something.
and this is through drug court, and it's, actually, the drug court graduation is tomorrow. I'm gonna go to that at 11:30 tomorrow. It's at the Judicial Center, but I don't know how many we have graduating, but it's tomorrow. But what the way he explained it to me, they, depending on how long they've been in drug court, tells how many hours community service they want them to do. So they all have some that they need to do, and just said they would like to do some in Jamestown. So anyway, if that's good with you all, we'll get back with you and just tell him that, H maybe want to throw up something to make sure that the city is covered from liability.
Square,
Well, yeah, lots of things, or, even after trunk or treat, if
Yeah.
stuff needs picked up, trash or whatever they're wanting to do, whatever, just,
Christmas somewhere.
maybe some painting or whatever they do at the park or something. But anyway, that's all I have. If anybody has anything.
I've got a couple of things I want to ask about. What about the distribution building? We kind of didn't bring up anything about that last month.
Well, we put out for bids just to see, to see who we got bids on it from. And the last that Les told me, which was a couple of days ago, is that we hadn't got any bids back in, that he has talked to them. And there's 2 different, Matt, correct, Tyler, 2 different groups, I think, working on bids. So we just figured that we'd give them more time to get those bids finished up, because they said there was quite a bit that they were having to do research for prices and stuff now with the cost of everything, that they were gonna turn in a couple bids. So we're just waiting to see what they come back with.
Let us know anything out on the Rogers building down here.
As far as what?
I heard that he-
Yeah, I hadn't heard any more about it, but.
Okay.
Just that about it being for sale.
Yeah.
I think she said they lowered the price, but I think that, we had looked at that a little bit earlier and didn't feel like it was very feasible at the time. Of course, I don't know. That's something.
Sorry, get that apart out of my.
Yeah. I haven't heard any more about that.
No, it was under contract, but I know, when she was saying it there, she didn't know how it was gonna go, but I don't know.
I think they backed out. Whoever had that under contract, they backed out, and it's back up for sale. That's pretty much all. We're just kind of waiting on getting those bids out there to see what we're looking at on that building.
Well, looking ahead just a little bit, the end of 2025 or first part of 2026 is going to be our 200th birthday. And I know the county's they've got a committee that they've been exploring and coming up with ideas and funding mechanisms and that kind of stuff through the county for this coming year. Just something I want to bring up, that I think we probably ought to get a committee to,
Start working on that.
start building. Start planning what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, how we're going to raise money and that kind of stuff.
There's the
And I actually
county.
have a good fundraising idea, but I'll save that for now.
think the county will be much
Raffle off the shot.
Will be there. Celebration, the county will be in 25.
Yes,
The
and
city
I,
will be in 26 for our,
I've got to research that. It's the end of 25, or I think the spring is 26, like early spring 26. But now I think the county's looking at maybe doing some kind of, and I'm probably speaking out of turn to say this because I haven't, I'm not that familiar with it, but I think they're looking at doing something like each month at a different location each month, throughout the whole year.
oh, okay.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that's good. I know they've been having meetings in this, trying
Like
to.
Greensboro 1 month and Jamestown 1 month.
Von Hill next.
Yeah.
Eli.
You had to be here before you know it, actually, we got trunk or treats right here, and then Christmas on the Square, and I don't know if everybody's heard this, but they have changed Christmas on the Square to the first Saturday instead of the first Friday in December. And then that's done by Marissa, there's the group that puts that on, we just do whatever we're asked to do, and then we provide help with things, but that's, they changed that day to the first Saturday.
Tony done? I want to shout out to the Jamestown Fire Department and law enforcement. About 2 o'clock, 2 weeks ago in the morning, boom, boom on my door. And I grabbed my shotgun and my britches and went down there. And the fire alarm at the church had gone off. Baptist church. They couldn't wake my brother up. So I run down there. And there's Jeff Landers and I think Mr. Coffey with him, Jeremy England, and probably Mr. Parrish. And it was just a malfunction. The door was unlocked, standing wide open. Don came down, he fumbled around, couldn't get anything locked up. So they were very nice and patient. No fire, but I appreciate them very much. Really, seriously, it was great. I mean, there's the lights going and everything. So, I guess Jeremy England, right?
England, yeah, he's there at Jamestown.
Great guy, he always let hours, he said, well, I couldn't get the door locked, I'll cruise around about every 15 minutes and keep anybody out, so that's great, I appreciate it very much.
Well, to add to that, I had a call, and they wanted to compliment Jeff Landers also, that they said, I hope, people realize he does a lot for the community.
He is a professional.
And does a lot of good stuff, so we do want to.
Yes.
I haven't told him that yet, because I know how big his head is.
Get rid of it.
And you'll want me to keep talking about it, you keep telling me how great he is. No, I'm kidding, but Jeff is good, he does a lot, and he's always, that's a lot of volunteer stuff, that's all volunteer stuff.
Well, I was very good to live in town for more people that do that, that's great. And, so, thank you, fire and law enforcement.
Anybody, anything else? Jeff, you have anything?
Oh, wait, just that body armor grant, which is pretty big news, and it happened pretty quick, so.
Eddie? Okay. Nobody has anything else? I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mitchell, second by Gail, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can stay?
Thank you all.
Talking about an alarm.